Hey, hello, hello. We have another new chapter of Dr. Stone. This one has the very intriguing title, World Power. Not really sure what to make of that, but I sure make a lot of this very evocative title page. With Senkyu and Suika looking up at the underside of a rocket taking off into space. You can't actually stand there. It's, you die. But symbolically, it's a nice place to stand. So, it's us versus Y-Man to make our spaceship. The resources in Japan alone are 10 billion% not enough. We gotta go around the world gathering up tons of stuff. Exploring the whole world. If only we had a pro explorer around. And Chrome is all for it. This is just what he's been dreaming of his entire life. This type of quest, this type of opportunity. Seeing these sites, gathering these resources, learning how they all come together. Looks like he's playing Animal Crossing. I'm going to be playing some Animal Crossing later. I love Animal Crossing. Anyways, Animal Crossing aside, I'm so excited to see these roadmaps. I'm so excited to see how this next gigantic saga is going to play out. Again, you betrayed me once. My greatest arrow is reviving you, or so I thought. I'm glad to have you around. Ooh, I didn't even think about that. When Gen so deftly allowed Tsukasa to save face in the last chapter. I just thought that was a nice moment, but it's like something kind of interesting about these long-running shonen series. I was thinking about this too. Someone left a really good comment about how Yo's personality had really changed. And it's like, so much is happening in the moment with these characters, so much is happening in terms of the plot. And sometimes it's all too easy to overlook the legacy of these characters and kind of the emotional history and all the relationships that we know they've had, and recontextualizing what you're seeing there. So like with Gen, I was like, oh, that's a really cool maneuver. Like that befits Gen's personality and his suite of skills and stuff. But I didn't think about this, that Gen was actually the one that betrayed Tsukasa first. That Gen was, by the power of Cola, swayed over to the Kingdom of Silence. They had this whole history too. It's just layers on top of layers. Definitely a strength of the medium that we shouldn't underappreciate. I can't do anything on my own, but I make use of others' strength, as any opportunist would. The achievements of the individual can never amount to much. What truly matters is bringing together the talents of many. Oh my gosh, excuse me. I had something caught in my throat. Strong words coming from Francois, the butler of many talents. So they're working on baking bread for the big expedition. I like that there's a focus on this. I think there's something very cozy about thinking about coming up with all the resources you need and stocking well and preparing for all these eventualities. It just has this nice feeling of readiness, I think, and I like it when they don't gloss over it in travel stories. Bring plenty of resources, so get hauling. I want to ship out again in a hurry. Yeah, so it's true. I think my initial assumption was going to be that they would spend quite a bit of time at the village, you know, catching up with people and savoring their time there before the next big quest. But you know, that's Senkyu for you. He serves a good plot purpose in his unsentimentality and his wanting to just keep things going. And so the plot just keeps going too. Too cold when winter hits. Yeah, that's a good point. Senkyu wanted to take the spaceship roadmap and whip up a quick model. It's kind of different than normal. Let's produce something 3D to show people. It doesn't matter if it's all sloppy. I love that Yuzuriha and Kasuki are buds. That they have this artisan handicraft connection. That they both love making small detailed things and figuring out the small interconnected mechanics of stuff. They both have cheat code level power in these sorts of areas. As soon as they see it, their eyes light up. That's the spaceship roadmap, this gigantic dome. Oh my gosh. Oh, I don't think I'm ready for this. Oh, I don't think I'm ready for this at all. Ooh, they made a globe. Kind of obsessed with building models. Whoa. Okay, okay. So it looks like we're going to have 5 major sub-arcs for this journey. First, we're going to have... Well, I don't know what order they're going to go in. If we think that we're starting in Japan, I think it would make sense to go to Math City first or Rubber City. Math City, I think they're going to find like a silicon mine so that Senkyu can start producing silicon chips and making calculators. Because to go to the moon, you know, people are often like, whoa, isn't it crazy that they went to the moon with less computing technology than you have in like a, you know, a tiny little calculator or whatever? Which is true. But they did need that. It's not like they just did it all on pen and paper. There's still like just tons and tons of small calculations you need to make in order to figure out varying orbital trajectories and working out, you know, exactly flight paths and stuff. And it's pretty complex, and it required a lot of very talented programmers and the cutting edge of computational technology at the time. So that'll be really interesting because I'm sure they're going to get into the details of that kind of mechanical. First, like how computation works, which will be very cool to hear about, even though I probably already know everything. And then working at the actual mathematics of spaceflight, which I don't know anywhere near as much about, and sounds really, really interesting. You can actually find a lot of the original code of the Apollo missions online. It's really, really interesting, especially like the notes and stuff they left each other, the comments and such. Then we go to Rubber City, Gomu no Machi, which looks like it's down in the Philippines or something. And there, of course, we're going to get rubber. Easy enough. I guess there's rubber plants growing there, and that's how they're going to do it. I'm not really sure. I feel like for this, you need more of like industrialized vulcanized rubber. Does that still originate from rubber plants? I don't know. Then to Australia for the Arumi no Machi, the aluminum city. I suppose that's just an aluminum mine. They're going to mine and smith aluminum. That makes sense. Then up to America, to the breadbasket of America, where they're going to gather corn to make ethanol as their rocket fuel. Fantastic. And then down to Chile or Argentina, where there's rare earth metals that they can make super alloys, which I believe you need for like radiation protection. There's probably certain alloys you need that are both extremely strong and extremely light. Lots of really cool stuff. Okay, so we have 5 mini arcs. Well, I don't know how many they're going to be, but I assume each of these they're going to run into some challenges, maybe an antagonist, and already the issue of, you know, sailing across the Pacific is an unprecedented challenge. So very, very exciting. What are these things? Cities? Super Alloy one caught my eye. I desire it. So we're going to be unearthing resources from across the globe. The Perseus crew of a few dozen ain't nearly enough. Revive people all around the world and establish new cities. Ooh, just like Civilization. It's like always my favorite part of Civilization. Settling a new city, naming it, thinking, what will this one specialize in? What will I have this one do? It's just such an exciting feeling. Everything seems so open and full of possibility when you click that settle here button. Such a grand plan. Thanks to Treasure Island, we can make unlimited revival fluid. The idea is no longer pure fantasy. It's finally time to save all 7 billion people. Do the building with us. Once we dig them up, bring them together, and create our cities. So I think most of the antagonists are going to be people that they revive and who betray them, who won't go along with the plan, who radicalize others, things like that. Because that makes a lot of sense. It would be very strange in the game at this stage of the game, to introduce other people that just naturally depetrified, or other descendants of the original spacecraft, or of other spacecrafts, or things like that. it just seems I don't know, like a stretch. Like it just kind of makes the premise feel thinner. Whereas the idea of them reviving someone and then having beef with them is one that I think is so far underutilized and can kind of put some ideological differing of opinions as kind of like the forefront for the conflict. You know, like, oh, I saved you, but now you think that we should be spending our time doing X, Y, and Z instead of building a rocket to the moon. You know, it leads quite naturally to a conflict. Whereas if there was just some other people, then you also just need a reason for those people. I don't know. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think this is just really nice. Ooh, a nice paper spaceship that Gen made. I'm impressed. Very crafty. One thing that concerns me about going around reviving groups of people at each location. The number that troubled Gen, the one regarding the upper limit of societal groups. Dunbar's number, 150 for humans. Yeah. It's a very interesting subject, but whatever. I'm gonna blast past that pretty quickly. There's some real bad dudes mixed in with the people we revive. Exactly, exactly. Once we establish law and order in the new cities, people accept it and everything should stabilize. I think that's quite, yeah, that's quite naive of Rusui. The initial period will be rough indeed. Tsukasa! Tsukasa looks so cute here. Damn, the way they've established Tsukasa's character is like so funny to me. Because like more than anyone else, his change to the kingdom of science feels like kind of a tonal or aesthetic mismatch. Like after being depicted as so brutal, as so powerful, as so different than Senkyu and stuff, to just have him like hanging around in the group and chatting away and stuff, it would be weird. But I like this. I like this that they've like leaned into almost like a self parody of it. He just goes, "It'll be fine. It'll be fine." Like, just wow, great point. It'll all just be fine. uh, yeah, like I don't know. It's really funny how they've kind of made the character into a parody of itself. And yet it still has that weight. It operates because Tsukasa still has that weight of character that you see him and you're like, oh yeah, no, that guy is actually absurdly strong. Okay, our route around the world will take us east. Crossing the Pacific straight away. Gin freaks out. All that water. Like Columbus searching for the next continent. Whoever spots land first gets a 100,000 Drago prize. Oh! Ooh. It hasn't come up lately because they've been off the mainland having their own adventures on the island and stuff. But that's right, they came up with a currency, mostly to placate Rusui, but also I think probably the people in the village have just been using this freely since they've been gone. Because all the villagers freak out when they hear there's a 100,000 Drago prize. This is going against absolutely everything Tsukasa stands for. Yeah, I think just keeping it from him is probably the best. Keep away from Tsukasa for all our sakes. You two are like cats and dogs. Yeah. Not as bad as the rumors painted you. It's true. Rusui has been quite a bro. He's you know, he's much more reasonable than I thought he was going to be. I thought he would be like, when he was first introduced, I actually thought he was going to be like a major antagonist. That they kind of got too ahead of themselves with reviving people and reviving people that seemed like on paper they would be useful, and that he was just going to be uncooperative and arrogant and always extorting them for stuff. But he's become quite the hero in his own right. Either way, too bad. You may hate me with a passion, but I love you. I love all women. So you see, so naturally that includes you. Men too. I desire them all, including Tsukasa. Bi visibility? Is this a canonically confirmed bisexual character? You know how rare that is? You know how friggin' rare that is? I often think about this, that in fiction people need characters to be like resolved. I find that there's often in stories about sexuality this kind of dilemma: am I gay? Am I straight? And it feels like a cop out, I think, to some writers to just be like, well, this character is bisexual. They just like both. That it feels like they're avoiding this resolution. They're avoiding a certainty or something. But come on, come on, come on, come on. Why not just have bisexual characters? Why not? What's wrong? What? That's just it just opens up more possible stories and stuff. Wow, Usui, canonical bi character? I'm so down. Can't just control everyone with money. Money is no more than a handy tool created by and for civilization. It doesn't exist to control people. It's there to focus our hearts and minds. Everyone combining their strengths like that unlocks humanity's full potential. Am I wrong? Oh, yeah, this sort of capitalism with a human face, capitalism with human-centered priorities and characteristics. Sounds nice on paper. Historically, we haven't seen much evidence that this sort of thing works. um, we can get into so many conversations now about the horrific sacrifices that some people are willing to make in order to make line go back up, in order to quote unquote save the economy. But let's not get into it. I'm just gonna upset myself. But I think Rusui is very privileged and really hasn't seen what happens when you lack capital, and such has like a very rosy picture of money and capitalism. All right, as I mentioned, we're gonna go around reviving the world. It's gonna require alcohol, ridiculous amounts of it. Grow grapes to make wine or use potatoes. Never make enough that way. Ah, so that's why they're going to get the Corn City. They're going to get all the ethanol. Nice, nice. They're heading to America. I mean, when we want to talk about the horrors of unrestrained capitalism, the terrible, terrible outcomes of putting money before people, what better place to go than America? I love that drawing of the corn, though. Oh my gosh, that's mouth-watering. The good old US of A. All right, this will be fun. I mean, it's kind of weird because everyone is petrified and all civilization has ground to a halt. But how will they depict America? How will it differ than all of these depictions of Stone Age Japan? I'm quite curious. And once they start reviving Americans, what's going to happen? Who can speak English? None of the past people can. Senki probably has cheat code level English. But things could get quite awkward. I'm very curious on how they're going to depict that. Look at these Americans. The American corn family. Oh my gosh. Oh, I can't wait. Corn has the urgency. The corn will all wither when winter comes. It's yellow dent we're after. It's a species the US prided itself on. With yield so high, it felt like cheating. I just love all of this cheating talk. And what's interesting is Senki has always referred to stuff as 10 billion%, 10 billion times more likely, etc., etc. But here he starts throwing numbers around like 7 billion, but that's like a real number now. That's not just like a cheat code level number, but that's the actual goal. Oh, reviving more people means feeding them. Oh, Taiji just loves eating grilled corn. He just wants to eat grilled corn so badly. Me too. 3 of us used the glass record to perpetuate our grand deception. We told a lie that I said would send us straight to hell. So we claimed the United States was back up and running. Right. I forgot about that. That was part of their propaganda efforts to weaken the Tsukasa Empire. Well, before we're headed to hell, let's make that a reality by our own power. All right, they're off to America. This is so crazy. Oh, this is so exciting. Hey, why is Suika still on the boat? Am I misremembering? Wasn't Suika a stowaway? And when they found out she was there, they were like, this is terrible. Like, this is so dangerous for a child. And then they just let her come again. Maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe she was supposed to be there for some reason. But it's like anytime Suika does something heroic or brave, which does happen quite often, it's like really kind of endangering herself or, you know, just a super last ditch bit of desperation. It's not like Senku has ever been like, okay, and this is Suika's job. You're gonna spy on the enemy or whatever. Like, that's so dangerous. Okay, very, very exciting. The America arc begins. Can't wait to see what the heck America is going to be like in Dr. Stone. So let's check it out then. Bye bye for now.